production, that's the main thing. That's what we do. That's the heart of what we do. So we want to go through a number of things related specifically to production, because there are a number of challenges that we always have to deal with in managing production. You know, we're always trying to be more efficient and find ways to be more efficient. And EPICS, of course, has some tools to assist with that. There are bits of information that we need to share, you know, throughout the plant. Of course, EPICS, you know, helps you in many ways with that. Verifying accuracy and just being accurate. Managing sales orders, managing the racks themselves, not necessarily the metal in the racks, that of course too, but just managing where are those racks? How do we just maintain you know, the many racks that we have out there, and even more tickets. Handling shortages. This is a feature that I want to talk to you about, because this is a really great feature that it surprises me how often people are not aware of it. So I just want to make sure you are all aware of the shortages features that EPICS has. And then ways that you can stop production, you know, when necessary. So we're talking about production reasons, not credit hold and not other types of hold, but for production reasons. You know, maybe the die isn't available, the die is broken. But for production reasons, why we might need to stop production and how we can do that. And so we will look at the number of tools that EPICS has to help us with each of these things. And I want to start by talking about scanners, using scanners in production. And Jim mentioned earlier that I'll be presenting a paper at ET next year, and this is the topic, is using scanners in production, and the benefits of using scanners, and that's what we're going to talk about right here. It'll improve your accuracy, improve your efficiency, and they're simple to use. So starting with just simple scanners, just very simple, like wireless scanners. Now you could use one that just plugs into your computer as well, but they're not, you know, you're tied down to a wire at that point. So, you know, using a wireless scanner is a great way to go. This could be just a USB, very simple scanner that you plug in. And these can be used at all production departments throughout EPICS. There's a lot of versatility that is allowed here. So using these simple scanners, you can start production by scanning rack numbers or sales order item and lot. You can scan master work order numbers or ticket numbers with the advanced shipping. And it's just a way of making sure that you have the correct job and loading the information on the screen and getting everything started, you know, in efficiently and correctly. So why should you use scanners? They improve accuracy and reduce mistakes, because, you know, if you're looking at a barcode, let's say it's a rack tag that's on the rack itself, or let's say it's a work order at the press or any other department. If you have the correct tag, then that's essential. But if you have the correct tag that's attached to the rack, or you have the correct work order, or you have the correct document, then it's simply a matter of scanning that barcode. And when you do scan in production, EPICS, you know, picks up that record, it loads that record on the screen, and you know that you're working with the correct information. And it will also, you know, load everything it knows about that record, as well as the start time. It reduces mistakes, because your personnel are not typing in a number. That's highly prone to errors and mistakes. If you're typing in, you know, sales order number or rack number, obviously, you know, they have to make sure they type in the right numbers, the right letters. Better yet is choosing from a list. If, you know, like you have on the scan for available racks tab, you have a list of available racks, and that's great. However, there's still a possibility that they could check the wrong box, you select the wrong line. But if you're scanning, it removes that error possibility as well. So it improves efficiency in these same ways that we're talking about. Because we're not looking up numbers, because we're not scanning lists, because all we have to do is go find that tag that's on the rack, or that work order, or that document that we're working with. It does improve efficiency and decreases mistakes. It's also very easy to use. I mean, it's just a scanner. It's just a point and click, and there you go. So just a look at a couple of documents here. At the top, I have a work order with a barcoded SO number, item, and lot. And on the right side, there is a rack tag. And so you can scan either of these documents to start production. From the work order, for example, if you scan SO item and lot, then the extrusion production screen instantly recognizes what order you're working with, loads the screen with all the data. Same thing with the rack tag. If you're working with a downstream department, age oven, for example, or any other downstream department, then simply scan that rack tag, and once again, we're on our way. So the age oven is a really good example to talk about for using scanners, because they're especially useful because we're loading an entire oven. We have multiple racks, and we're loading all these racks in an oven load. They have the same start time, the same stop time. They have the same production properties. And so with a scanner, a wireless scanner, we can simply go to those racks as they're going into the oven, scan them, and they will appear on the production screen. So this is a scenario where you have EPICS running on a computer screen in a place that's visible to the people that are working there, and they scan the racks. And as they do, this would be my first scan, we'll say. This is the age production screen, age oven. And on my first scan, you can see that it loads this first item, this first rack, into my production screen. All right. So again, the scenario is I'm several feet away from this with the racks. I've just scanned a tag, and then I can see that it has loaded that tag on the production screen. I scan another tag, and once again, I'm just looking at this production screen that maybe is 20 feet away from me, but I can see that it is that new line appears on the screen, and another one. And so I'm scanning all of the racks in my oven load. So once again, all of these racks will have the same start time, same stop time, same department, machine, date, shift, all of that information. And they go in together, and they get posted together. So the age oven is a really good example for using scanners. But of course, scanners can be used at any other downstream department as well. So let me talk to you about this other scan feature called scan in, scan out, which is a little known feature. But what this does is it starts production in the same way that we just discussed. You scan the barcode, and EPICS will load that sales order on the screen with all of its production information, and it puts in the start time, or rather it puts in the time that you scan. That is the start time of the job. Of course, you can adjust the start time, manually, but that's what the first scan does, is it just simply puts in that start time. And then at the end of the job, you can just go grab the scanner again, scan the barcode again, and on the second scan, then it will put in the stop time. So whatever the time is at the time of the scan is what goes into that stop time. Now, this is a feature that's not enabled by default, of course, and there is a config setting that you can see here. It's called enable with G scan in, scan out. I have to get the G in there. Scan in, scan out. So if that sounds interesting to you, you might want to test with it. Okay. So we've looked at some of the ways we can use just very simple scanners. But let's look at some of the many features that EPICS has for for smart scanners or scanners with a screen, with an interface. So these are a number of interactive features that you may be aware of, but it uses EPICS Mobile is what we call this mobile application, and it's designed for Android scanner devices. There is also an RDP version of this that anyone, even today, even right now, if you're logged into EPICS, if you go to the administrator ribbon, you will see an option there for mobile. What's it called? It's called EPICS. I have to look it up real quick. It's called Mobile Menu. And so you can see these features directly from EPICS. Okay, and the screenshots that you see here are taken from the mobile menu in EPICS. So all of these screenshots that you see are available to you at this, just at any time. And so the idea is, if you run this as an RDP device, then it's running remote desktop onto your smart scanner that is RDP enabled. The other option, of course, with this, and the better option really, is to run this using EPICS Mobile, which is a software that's designed specifically for your scanner. Okay, so we would need to talk with you about your specific devices, but we have EPICS Mobile that we've developed for a number of different devices, and if we don't have one for yours, then we will discuss how to make that work with yours. But if it's an Android device, then we're good to go. Okay, and Stefan, if you nod your head, say yes if that's right. Okay, everything that's good. Okay, thank you. So let's talk about using scanners, smart scanners, or scanners with a screen, with the enhanced shipping module. Okay, now the enhanced shipping module has a lot of benefits, but particularly with the scanning, it allows you to verify truck loading. Okay, so because if someone has a scanner in their hand, they walk up to a ticket and they scan it, that is proof positive that someone has located that ticket. If you're scanning the ticket, then that ticket has been found. Okay, so just in verifying truck loading, it's proof that we found that ticket. Okay, so like I say, this is available with EPICS Mobile, or as you see here on the screen, this RDP app. There's no additional charge for either one of these things. If there's development that we have to do with your particular Android device, then there may be some charge there, but that's not our goal. Our goal is not to charge you for this. We just want this to be the most efficient for you. Okay, so that's with enhanced shipping. All right, relocate racks. This is another screen that you'll see in either one of these choices using EPICS Mobile or the RDP app. And it allows you to relocate or set the location of racks. So it says here that you can easily scan racks to set their location. That is true. You simply choose the location and then scan the ticket. So here's just a simulation of this. I just scanned a ticket. I scanned, or rather a rack. I just scanned rack 101, and it has moved it or assigned location A2. So you can imagine that we have locations throughout the plant. Maybe this is one scenario that I've seen, is if you have posts, support beams in various places, if you label those posts or label other places on the wall or whatever, so that they're easily recognizable, and then so you can select the location from the scanner app, then scan those racks, and so it's updating the location. We have new information, up-to-date information about the location of those racks. Okay. All right. So of course we always have the information about which department the rack came from, which department the rack is going to, but this gives us very specific information about where the rack is located at any given time. And this is a shot of the maintain racks screen. So you can see that as you update those racks, it automatically updates the location code on the rack screen. And there's a same or similar process with relocating tickets. It's the same thing that we just saw with racks, but we choose the location and then scan the ticket, and it will update the location on the ticket record. And here you see the location on that ticket. Okay, so once again, just a way of giving us more specific information about where we can go find these tickets and racks. All right, so two other uses for EPICS Mobile. Now, these are not specifically production related, in terms of posting production or managing production, but they're related to EPICS Mobile. I just wanted to mention these here. So with physical inventory, it's a way of verifying the piece count for all of your racks, all of your tickets, all of your billet, and there is a scanner app that works along with that as well, and also for pull from stock. So if you have a fork truck driver that's going around picking things up, it may be that they're working with a printed checklist. That's pretty common, and they're taking that checklist back to EPICS to the computer at some point and then posting what they did. But if you give them a scanner, they can do the same thing from the scanner. So they choose the location, or whether they just scan the stock number, scan the ticket, and then tap pull on their device, indicating that it's been pulled from stock. So it's a time saver, improves efficiency. Okay, then, managing shortages. Now, I was saying earlier, it surprises me how often we talk with people who don't know about this feature. And so I say this is perhaps the least known awesome feature in EPICS, and it's true. I have two trees here. One's a full-grown tree. The other one was, but then it got chopped off. Okay, that tree is too short. So the first thing that this screen does, the shortages screen does, is allows you to identify shortages. That would find that half chopped down tree. Okay, but these are items that we originally had planned enough. The work order was sufficient. We extruded enough. Everything was good. But then somewhere downstream, something happened. Probably scrap, maybe stock, or we reallocated to another sales order item. But for some reason, our original plan no longer has enough metal to ship that order complete. So using the shortages feature, we have the ability to very simply and efficiently create a new shortage work order to replace that metal, or to just go ahead and call it complete. So maybe we scrapped a few pieces and it's close. And so we contact the customer and say, we're going to be short a few pieces. Is this okay? And if they say, sure, then we can just go ahead and call that item complete. So let me show you how these things work. So first of all, to get to the shortages screen, go to the orders ribbon and then work orders and calculate and print work orders, a screen that you use or somebody uses every single day. But on that screen, you'll see there is a shortages tab. So click the shortages tab and then click the scan button. Okay, and this will bring up a list of all of the items that we discussed that are short. Okay, so once again, these are items that we had a plan in place. The plan was good. However, downstream processing, for whatever reason, has left that item short, and we will not have enough metal to ship for these items. All right, so there are all of our items. And with the choices then, once again, we have the choice of creating the shortage lot. And here's an example where you can see here that we have checked this box on this item. And what this is showing us is that that to fill maximum tolerance, fill maximum tolerance on this item, we would need to plan a new lot for 2,274. Okay. Now you can see that the maximum tolerance here is 2,501. Okay. But the 2,274 plus tolerance will give us a new lot for the 2,501. Okay. So by checking this box, and you can see that this column is white, indicating that you can change these numbers, but the number that is there by default will give you a lot, in this case, for 2,501. Okay. But if you want to do less than that, you can just double click in there and read and type a new number in that field. Okay, so we check the box, and then we click the button to create shortage work order. And from that point, then we proceed with our normal work order calculation routine. So just to orient you again, just for a moment, you see at the top here, there's the scan tab that I have circled, but notice the shortages tab there as well. So that's where we just came from. We came from shortages, and now it just brings us back to the scan tab. Okay, and shortages are easily identified. Shortage lots are easily identified because there is a column that is specifically made for that. Okay, so you go to the scan tab, and then you look for that column, and you can sort by that column to bring all those shortage lots together. Okay, from that point on, you just select your work orders and calculate in the usual manner. Okay, so the other option we have with this, rather, is to just call the item complete. And the way we do that is by adjusting the shipping tolerance. So you can see there is the tolerance column there near the left, and it shows the the plus and minus tolerances there. So to call an item complete, to adjust the tolerance to make this item complete, what we do is simply click on that tolerance value. Just click on the line in the tolerance column. And when you do, this message will appear telling you that if we adjust the tolerance, in this case, if we adjust the minimum tolerance to a negative 11%, that will give us sufficient pieces to ship this item complete. So this was originally an exact piece count, requirement of an exact piece count. So, but we're saying if we adjust this down by a negative 11%, then we will have enough to ship. And you can choose whether you want to do that or not. Okay, let's talk about master work orders. Now, this is something that we talk about from time to time at user conferences. But just want to run through this again and show you the benefits of this, because it is something that you're doing in some way anyway. You're doing this in some fashion. It's simply a way of grouping work orders together to run as a single job at the press. To minimize die changes, you're grouping jobs together that have the same die, the same alloy, the same temper and length. That's exactly what the master work order feature does in EPICS. It presents all those to you, all the possible matches, and allows you to plan those. And of course, the benefit of this is minimizing die changes. It improves efficiency. And like I say, it's something you're doing already, and EPICS has some features to help with this. This is the master work order screen. And from here, I'll just show you just a quick example. You start by just clicking on any line. You just click any line that you select, it will highlight all of its matches. And it should also say that you will only find items on this screen that do have matches. Okay, so this is not all of your sales order items. These are all of your sales order items that have at least one other match for die, alloy, temper, and length for those first 4 columns there. All right, so you select any line, it highlights all the matches, and then you can you can either check the boxes individually to choose the ones that you want to go onto the master work order, or you can click select all highlighted, and you can see over here now that all these check boxes are selected. These are the items that will become a part of our master work order. And then we click create master work order. Okay, and it tells us that it has been created. Now, from that point, all master work order jobs are scheduled together as a single job. So on the press schedule, they're locked together. If you choose one, they all get locked. And the same thing with calculating work orders, and the same thing with posting production. This is a view of the master work order document. Okay, so you all have your work order, and some of you are familiar with this one as well. But this is a top page, a front page for the master work order. And you can see that the top line there has a summary of the total weight, total pieces, total billets that will be required for these 6 different items that you see down at the bottom. Those are the 6 that we planned in our master work order. So we have this summary. This is everything that's necessary to create this. Now, if you want to see the detailed work orders, they are still there. So if you're looking at these on screen, you just click to the next page, and you have each of those, in this case, 6 different detailed work orders that make up the master. So all that information is still there. Okay. When you post production on the for extrusion, you can see again each of these 6 items that are shown here in this part of the screen, and the way you post the pieces here is to simply post all the pieces in the top row. So I posted like 4,000 pieces here in this top row, and then EPICS distributed that among all of the items. So it's not necessary that I go to each individual item and type in specific numbers. I can, but it's not required. I can simply type in the total production in the top row. EPICS will then distribute that among all of those items. It distributes them first up to the job requirements. If there's more, then it goes back and distributes them again up to top tolerance. If you have any additional at that point, if you have extra pieces that might go into stock, but anyway, they're extra, then it simply puts those in the top line. But it does all of that automatically. Okay. There's another form of master work order, and this is for optimizing for cutback. So again, the benefit of this is to reduce scrap, to improve efficiency by creating optimal extrusion lengths for the purpose of cutback. Okay, so let's see, get this. All right, let me back up one. Well, that's it. Okay, there we go. So this again is the master work order screen. Now, just to orient you again just a bit. Now, a little while ago when we were talking about master work orders, then we were looking at this tab here that says create or edit standard master work orders. Okay, in this case, we're now looking at create master work orders optimized for cutback. So it's the same process. We click on any item, and EPICS will highlight all of the matches. But in this case, notice that the lengths do not have to match. It's matching only die, alloy, and temper, and then the lengths could be anything else. Now I have selected a few of these items here, and with those items selected, I can calculate this master work order, and you can see it shows us a cutting list, a cutting plan for how we can use this, how we can do this at the cutback department. So this goes to the press to produce the optimal lineal length, which you can see here in this case is 17 feet, 11 inches. But then as we go to cutback, it shows us the plan here for producing the cut lengths necessary for each of those sales order items. Yeah, so that's just a closer view of the selecting, and then the closer view of the cutting list. This cutting list is also a part of the master work order. So again, here's a front page of the master work order we saw a moment ago. The second page on this is now the cutting list. Okay, so that's viewable, of course, for the cutback department. Okay, so let's talk about holding production. Now, there are a number of ways of holding sales order items in EPICS, and you're all familiar with, I'm sure, the various types of credit hold. And I hope you are also familiar with the plan hold, but I know this is not as well known, so we want to discuss that here. So the purpose of plan hold is to hold production for production reasons. It has nothing to do with the credit, but rather something internally is going on that we need to stop production. Maybe we're having equipment failure or die failure, or some other thing that we need to hold production. Okay, and you can see here on this plant hold screen we have these four options to place production on hold by customer number or by die number. And die number is unique in this case. There is no option for die number with any other type of hold, but plant hold gives you this option to hold production by die number. Also sales order or sales order item. So if we were to place production on hold for scheduling, this is what it would look like on the scheduling screen. The scheduler comes over here to do their schedule, and this item is on hold. It cannot be scheduled. This is what it would look like for the work order planner. We go to plan that work order and can't check the box. We cannot proceed until it's released. And on the packing screen for packing or stock, if we try to pack or stock, then we see this message if it's on plan hold. And then also for shipping. So here is the standard shipping screen. So this entire order essentially is on hold, and that's what it looks like there. And on the enhanced shipping screen, you see the hold there as well. So at each of those places, it stops us at the critical point of checking the box or scanning the ticket. So let's look at how you can create those holds and what they look like. So this is another one of those features where you will create your own hold codes. Just take a look at the examples we have here. So I've created a hold code called engineering, that we're saying that because of an engineering problem, then we want to hold posting production at the production screens, as well as packing and shipping. So if we choose an engineering hold, it will have that effect. It will hold those three locations. Okay, here's one that's simply called pack. So it's pack only. It's just a packing hold, and we have the checkbox there. Here's one for planning hold, production hold. So you can see the various options there. Here's one that's a quality hold. We're going to hold everything. We're going to stop everything. Okay, so you will create your own plant holds. Okay, sorry, my keyboard is leapt ahead of me. Okay, right. And then some other things that have to do with hold, other production holds. This is for QC, and we talked about these at last year's conference, but just a quick mention once again. And this not strictly for production, but it does hold things at production steps. You have this config setting to require tensile tests for QC. And this will hold any item with a cert code. If you put a cert code on the part, on the item, and this option is selected, then it will hold that production until a passed tensile test has been posted. Okay, and you see the options here. You can choose to hold it packing or shipping or both. All right, so once again, with that one, it will hold anything with a cert code until tensile tests are posted. This next one is require tensile test. It's simply G require tensile test. And it holds all sales order items until until a passed test is posted. And then require tensile test for QC. Holds all sales order items if a QC department is in the routing. All right, so if you want to plan it that way and put your quality department in the routing, then you can be more specific with which items get held. Okay,